Hello? I have no idea why Discord keeps doing that to my microphone, but it's okay. I'll just have to reset it again every time it does that, which is a little annoying, but I don't really mind. Uh, right, about the shows in 2026, yes, there will be more shows in more cities that I hope to visit for the next year, and it's something I really look forward to doing. I love touring so much. it's it's probably my favorite thing. My favorite thing in this job is to go on tour. I love meeting new people and performing for people, just being on stage and singing and doing what I love. I love being in front of a microphone, and I guess that not a lot of artists enjoy touring because it is quite stressful in itself, especially um, the stress of travel and having to deal with that every single day. But I find it quite exciting, and I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, oh, new people, new places, so much energy, so much excitement. This is a question from Susie. I have a question. How did you come up with the Harkers? The Harkers are built and written off of my principles. Uh, the foundation of the characters, at least, came from all the characters that I've already designed and given name to before, and when I played different games, but repurposing them and giving them a whole nother person and a whole nother plot. They're kind of like cases where I've just encapsulated my principles in them, and how I value the past, as simple as like the past, future, balance, and chaos. And of course, there's so much more than that, and how we should always be listening and also heeding the past and the future. That it is not just an essential, not, it's not, all of these four entities are inevitable. It's just part of our lives. And I suppose I wanted to write the Hark as some sort of educators for the people, and how you can't really stop the past nor the future, no balance. Balance talks of mainly equilibrium, and it's a give or take. And if you put your weight, it'll obviously be be heavier, a consequence in that sense. And when the cup is full, it will spill. I'm just trailing off of my thoughts. Um, and chaos. A lot of people seem to misinterpret chaos. Chaos isn't evil. Chaos isn't bad. It is inevitable, and it is an essential within your life for balance and everything else to exist. This harmony exists so there could be harmony, and without it, it is kind of, you're kind of not real. Without chaos, without this harmony, you are not human. You're not alive. You are unnatural. In nature, it embodies chaos. Um, And I suppose that's one of the things that one of my favorite things to clarify when I talk about the hackers. I've kind of gone off. Okay, let's go to another question. um, mm, this is an overall answer to all the similar questions about Collywobbles, which is the song about Coop and Quest that won't be releasing anytime soon, even the next year or even the next year. I have no idea. And I really do appreciate that you enjoy the song a lot. I myself find it quite enjoyable to perform as well, but it's just with how this project works and how the story works, everything that has been released is in order and everything has to be linear. So inserting something irrelevant or just not part of the main thing, and with um, with a lark at the very moment and Meadowlark being the very center of this project, I can't squeeze in Coop nor the playwright in there unless it's really, really relevant. And that's quite a personal song for the character, so it's just doesn't make sense. I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm excited about it too, obviously, but it's inevitably I have to control myself, and I this is a proper project that I do want to keep organized. This is from Bug Bread. I like your name, Bug Bread. Uh, she's asking about if we're going to get the full story of Meadowlark. Are we only going to get songs, or will the project have something else like a full written story? It's quite exciting since it's going to be mixed media, and I hope to tell the story in multiple ways. There was a main plot of Meadowlark, but obviously within that plot consists of different kinds of characters and different kinds of stories and truths, all from different perspectives, and it's really broad. But the main thing, the main story, is what I hope to write in a book, and I hope to publish that book. And I have started writing it. Um, I just don't know how long it'll take. Books take years to finish, and rightfully so. It takes a lot to build a world and to immerse yourself into actually walking through that world and getting to be a witness and therefore retell that story to the public. But through the songs, um, I am able to, at least for the future songs, if I were to release a whole nother thing, it will not be the full story in detail, but it'll be marking it as one and two. one and two and three, one and two and three, and four and five and six. And it's like parts. I guess say the important parts of history, or the how do I word this out? Um, I should really avoid saying a lot. I think I should stop there. I'm trailing off. I need to get my energy up. I need to. Why am I sleepy? It's only 2:35 p.m. My question is from Strawberry. What was your process in creating the Lark's voices? I love how you can make them all so distinct. It's really cool. Thank you. And to be honest, I do not really know. I have no idea how to answer that. And it seems like I do know what I'm doing when it comes to voicing them, and it's just there seems to be a very good method, like a specific method or process into doing such a thing. But then I genuinely can't answer it, because even me going about it every single day, I have no idea what my normal voice is. And people who know me personally around me get to experience it outside of the characters. I do just sound different most of the time, and it depends on situation. It depends on I have no idea. There are instances where, and this is something I do, and naturally I don't really notice it as much, is when I feel scared, or when I feel like I shouldn't take up much space and I feel like I need to be small. I need to feel irrelevant so that I wouldn't be in danger, or I need to feel secure within myself that I am just a normal person, or I want to sound genuine, is when I feel like I sound younger or I sound softer. And I mean, you've heard me sing, you've heard me perform on stage. I do have a loud and powerful voice, but that just goes out of the window, all of it, when I get into specific scenarios that I need to just soften my voice up and feel small. I'm harmless. And a lot of the times I do that when I want people to understand, or when I'm talking to children. So it sounds a lot less intimidating. And along with it, I change my intonation, the cadence in my sentences, even the accent sometimes, to fit the scenario, so that I am able to be understood properly. And I do all of these because I value communication so much that I am willing to adjust so that this person, or the receiving person, is able to comprehend all that I'm saying, and that I am genuine, and I am making the effort to be genuine and to come off as genuine. The opposite is when, for example, I need to be in a professional space where I want to be heard and I want my words to weigh something, and I want to feel important. I want to feel like I'm standing for the right thing. And that is when I need to let out that power in my voice, and I have to feel like I have the right to be here. And then I start to just naturally lower my voice, and I suddenly I feel a lot more confident in myself, and I just I it's a sureness. It's being understood as I am sure I know what I'm talking about. And I do believe in my own words. I am not stuttering. I am not doubting myself. And I guess figuring out myself and studying myself and realizing these things of what used to be insecurities, I've just rediscovered them and gave them names and gave them characters. And then I was able to organize them within myself. And I'm like, okay, this voice could be this and this voice could be that. And this isn't really answering any questions now because I kind of digressed, but it's so funny how we are so aware of ourselves. We are so scared of being judged, and we are so scared of being different. And all these little things that we find annoying within ourselves, we tell ourselves that, oh, if I do this in public, or if I do this with something, or if I just do this in general, I will be judged, I will be punished, I will be different. But then if you look at it closely, that difference is what makes you unique, and unique is a trait that is valued by so many in the world. And that difference, what makes you unique, is kind of a power. It's interesting. I should move on. Mm. Hmm. This question is from Emma. Do you have a favorite character that you've created? If not, which character that you've created do you most relate to? This is such a sweet topic to get into because, as you all know, this story is, as how I would explain it, is like a diary turned storybook where it started from journaling and using my words as an outlet and it being recorded in paper. Suddenly it turns into a whole new thing. It turns into a whole new world, and parts of myself get to live and be immortalized in that world, allowing me to welcome change because I'm not really losing that person that I was. because it will always be there. And now they are adored by so many, welcomed by so many. And it's just a really wonderful thing. Um, I first thought that I was cool. Well, I was cool. Cool is based off of when I was a lot younger. I found myself to be the exact opposite of who I am when I stand on stage and get myself prompted and ready to face an audience. I've always been so passionate about what I do, and yet I don't feel myself right or confident enough to actually pursue that passion. But they're a kid, and understandably so. They don't know what's waiting behind those walls, and there will be doubt, there will be fear, but that didn't really stop them from starting anew and taking a step and pursuing what they love most. And I do love all of my characters so much. Each of them are a piece of me. I'm like a completed puzzle, and each of them are a piece. And it's really hard to answer. I guess simply put, I don't have a favorite, as they're all valued the same. As just stages of my life when I get inspired, or when I feel a really strong emotion, so strong that it is beyond me, that it shapes itself to be its own being. And I let them go. And they walk on their own. And that topic, I am reading the chat as I try to with how fast it's going. But on that topic, I find it really unnecessary to look down on people who make self inserts, because even authors from way before the internet, way before this kind of community existed, or any kind of artist or author or creator in this world, their first reference will inevitably be the truth that they carry, the story they've witnessed that has been turned into something else, and something that they brought to life. And I it is possible to make something entirely different from yourself, entirely detached from your person, from your beliefs, from even your appearance, even from the influence that others have given you. I find it quite hard to understand but at the same time, it's not impossible. However, that could be prone to being a lie. I don't know if I'm wording it right, because you are doing this. You are making something, giving effort and putting time, and for you to not lend even the slightest piece of yourself in that is just dishonesty. Why are you making it in the first place? It's different when it's a job, right? It's different when it's a commission. But even then, people look to you to do that job, and to make that happen because of your skill, to something that you've put yourself in. And I don't know. It's one of the reasons why I encourage everyone who follows a story or this project to make their own. And for every prompt, I do not force people to draw just specifically the lark, and I don't shove it into people's throats that I, Keith, exist and should be put in a spotlight at all times. I try my best to give you people that very same room, so that you are able to explore what I've explored. And that's because, as I said before, this story is from my journal, from my own diary, which means it's special to you now because it is popular, but it was I'm not special. Everyone has their own story to tell, and it's not up to popularity. It's not up to numbers of what value it has. Everyone is their own meadowlark. It doesn't even have to be a meadowlark. It doesn't even have to be a bird. Everyone is their own witness, and everyone is their own storyteller, and everyone is their own voice. And I am just simply sharing my own experiences and my own stories. And as much as these characters and this whole plot is a translation of my life, I don't ever want it to come off as pretentious or vain. Um, I love walking. I've never seen myself confident in leading, but so far with how this has been going, Yaelokre, I kind of just think it's nice to walk and be able to walk first, and I'm able to guide people and tell them, like, oh, watch out for that step, or hold on to this so you don't trip, or it's a little dark further ahead, so get your flashlights ready. Just I'm able to help and make it easier for people. And as simple as doing, I don't know, those little prompts, for example, I'm able to go, now imagine yourself in this situation, or imagine yourself or your character or someone that you love be put in this experience. I want you to imagine yourself in the experience that I've also experienced. I'm getting really off track. Stop. Okay. Hmm. Um, I will be answering this question, but not exactly as what they're asking. But I want to get into the topic as well. This question is from Lav. They said, "Hi Keith, I have a very specific question in regards to Clement. I have noticed they have a missing tooth in their current design. Is there a specific event to how they lost it? They're very active kids, so I'm curious if there's a fun story to tell." Well, it's just that. Nothing really specific that I want to share at the moment, but it's from play. And the reason why I wanted Clement to have a missing tooth and that to be prominent is because they were raised to be perfect or something very specific. They were molded ever since they were a baby. And imperfection. Imperfection is something that is part of everyone's lives, and I wanted Clement to, well, shine through their imperfections, not just the kind of person that they were written to be. Getting freckles from the sun and, well, getting exposed to the outside, tripping and getting a tooth chipped, getting their hair tangled, and they're very frilly and adorable and quote unquote perfect child. They speak in very soft sentences delivered in pure sweetness, and it's like everything you expect from them will be polite, will be welcoming, will be darling. And yet the things that come out of their mouth often feels strange or out of pocket, or, well, out of all the lot, they're the most likely to swear, even though it's unintentional. But it's just that they don't understand. They're a kid, and they just say things as they hear it, and they just see the world with so much love. They think that even the silliest words could be portrayed with much love. But that is also why I wanted to give them multiple names. As you've noticed, out of all the lark as well, they have the most nicknames, and I address them differently every single time. Clement, Clementine, Clemmy, Monty, Little Prince, and maybe even more, was because of the same reason of how they were shaped to be this singular thing, this perfect little thing. And now they get to be so much more. They get to be plenty. They get to be witnessed by so many people, given so many perspectives of who is Clementine. Clement is perfect. Clement is polite. But to other people, Clement may be rowdy. Clement may be wild. And to another person, Clement is brave. Clement is righteous. But to another person, Clement is reckless. Clement is unsure, is loud, and so on and so forth. But neither of those things glorify nor look down on their character because they are allowed they are now allowed to just live as their own person. I love working on Clement so much. Fungogo just said cement earworm. I like that. That's really funny. Okay, I haven't been drawing because I've been getting carried away. Uh, right. I need to draw. So I'm going to be setting this up. Drawing. What was it? One's 12. Okay, okay. Ah. Thank you for sharing everyone's stories in the chat despite the speed of it. I do appreciate you feeling like you're allowed to be human, even though it is a little intimidating and a little unreal considering it is the internet, you know. But it's nice. It gives authenticity. I don't know if that's the right word. Right. Hmm. This question's from Livy. They are asking if I will ever be releasing Reaver. Unfortunately, I won't. Reaver and Liar are probably something I'm going to recycle, but it as it is at the moment, it's quite irrelevant and it's quite the story is quite different. It came from very early stages of Meadowlark when I wasn't really sure how to go along with it, but it's still fun to sing personally. I just don't think that I'll be releasing it. Maybe rewrite it, but that's for the future. Ooh, all right. This is from, how do I pronounce your name? Hearty? You have the username of Stake My Heart? Mm. Their question was, I'd like to know your favorite part of the creative process, how you were taught about music and art, how did you teach yourself? I'm incredibly inspired by you. Much love from Kentucky. That's very sweet. Thank you. My favorite part of the creative process. Well, last night it was kind of the entire week when I've just been feeling this oddly weighty emotion. It's a negative emotion that I've just felt. I need to let it out. There's no point in being angry. So I made a song which I posted in my Keithos Instagram, and in doing so, I feel quite relieved from that, and I feel like I did the right thing. It's always been an amazing outlet. My favorite part of the creative process is getting to justify my emotions and being able to work with it as if it were a colleague of some sort. Like, oh, we're not taking it personal now. Now it's time to work. That means that I get to pluck myself out of the narrative. It's not about me this time. It's about the art. Either it be a visual, either it be music, either it be writing. It's about making now, using that ingredient, which is the emotion, as a push or a spice. And I love composing so much. I love composing, and that is a heavy. That is such a big part of my writing process as well, and writing not just lyrics, but writing in my poetry and my stories in general. Because the way I write, I want to be able to read it with a cadence that fits a certain feeling of performance, that when I read it out loud it sounds right and it lands right. I don't just write so and so. I kind of have to go through this mental process of organizing it and making sure that it sounds great when I read it out loud. And I think that is also part of composition, of composing. Composing is my most favorite thing. I am purely self-taught. My mom was a singer and she did teach me how to sing, but that was a very long time ago. And around my early teenage years, I was focusing on school, and then she wasn't singing anymore. So music has just been very dormant. And then I picked it up again myself, and I figured that, oh my goodness, my interest and my skill could be intertwined, and therefore I taught myself how to do it. I had to teach myself because I came from a place that's not really big on schools around music and art, but it was less on pushing myself to learn and more on having fun. And during that fun years of just doing what I love, I got to teach myself to become better, and then surprisingly, progress was there. Yeah. I'm answering these questions and I'm not quite helpful, am I? I'm so sorry. And this is oh, I'm seeing a question there. Hello, Keith. Do you have a particular favorite artist when it comes to drawing? This is coming from Willen. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I don't know how to do the Y. Willen. Willen. Uh, Beatrix Potter. Mm, I love Beatrix Potter so much. I love collecting things, Peter Rabbit. And there's this other artist as well. I'm trying to remember. But he, no, who am I kidding? It's a she. Of course it's a she. It's Jill. Jill Bark. Jill Barklam and Beatrix Potter. I love they're a huge inspiration to my project, and I just adore picture books made for children. They don't really do a lot of that art style now. Everything feels so simplified and shapy, but uh, I love collecting the illustrations. I'm drawing right now, so sorry. I'm kind of floating. It's a skill. It's a skill to keep in line and to progress at the same time. Mm. I'm looking for more questions that I can answer and talk about. That is my elevator music while I scroll down this chart. Oh, I haven't seen this question in a while. This is from Junie or Milo. Hi Keith, how does one pronounce Yaelokre correctly? There is no right pronunciation as it is not a real word. You can pronounce it however you want, and it's really funny seeing people correct others when it comes to this, when the truth is that you can say it however you wish. And I myself tend to lean towards Yaelokre because even though it is not a real word, it came from the color yellow ochre. And the letters were dissected and repurposed and came Yaelokre as my name. However, at times I also try to mix it up as Yaelokre or Yaelokre. It doesn't matter. And I love variations. I love it when people come up with things that make sense of how to pronounce it on their own. It is the same concept as Clement's name. It's just, there's no correct way to do it. It's just a jumble of letters. This question is from Mayota. Hello, out of all the voices you do, I wonder which one is your favorite, if you have one. Mine is Clementine, and if you don't have a specific favorite, as they're all lovely anyway, then I wonder how long you spent before you decided it's time to post for the first time, as I'm a creator struggling to start posting, and I wonder. Thank you, Ayota. My personal favorite. Ooh. I would say Clement as well. I just feel like I have free range when it comes to Clement, and they feel the easiest to use because it's out of everyone, they're the easiest for me to distinguish, and I don't have to put so much work, even though it is the placement of their voice is quite unusual.
I feel like I could just do it any time that I want, and I'm a completely different person. And I sound really cute. But at the same time, it's a little straining. I just have to drink a lot of water whenever I need to use Clementine in my recordings. Then I can say whatever I want. It's the highest voice I could do, and that I'm allowed to give personality. But at the same time, the exact opposite of my range, I like to do. I like to do the playwright.
Because it's the complete opposite of of Clement, right? Well, pitch, but it's there. I guess I do love being in both ends. I find it the most fun when I hear myself from my recording, and then I go, oh, it doesn't sound like me. Then that's a success. It means that I'm doing the right thing if it doesn't sound like me. But it's quite specific. As for the second question, the second question being about posting for the first time as a creator is that you shouldn't expect your work to be acknowledged the same way it is acknowledged by someone you look up to, someone who is already doing this as their career, as their job, as someone who you know is a public figure, someone who is popular. You shouldn't expect in the first place, nor assume how you are going to be treated. And when you are a creator, of course, you want your baby, your creation to be treated the way you want it to be treated, what you think it's supposed to be treated. You're like a mother. And I know you want your baby to go out into the world and for people to be in awe, for you to be proud. But the future is untold, and so is every environment, despite there being like plans and, of course, companies being like, hey, this is how we see your job, your future. This is how we can make sure that you will be successful. But it doesn't work like that at all times. When you create, and when you are a creator, you just create without expectation, without doubt, without needing to mind what others will say. Because then you wouldn't be true to yourself if you're just doing this for the people, if you're just doing this for an audience. That would be a dishonesty. And my biggest principle when it comes to being a creator is your honesty. And yeah, just post whatever you want to post. And the right people will flock in due time. You just have to be patient, and you shouldn't. It's different when it comes to, you know, marketing and being a social media person, and you want some attention for your creations. But I kind of I've kind of feel that as well. It's obviously dishonesty, right? Because it's not genuine, and you're making your way towards that. All right, if I do this and I'll get more attention, then like, I think naturally it should just happen. And of course, it's inevitable that people behind closed doors will also find their way into your head, into thinking that they have the right to say and to do things to your work. But they don't know your truth. They don't know the beginning of your project. They don't know they don't know the significance. They don't know anything. They do these things because they don't have a baby of their own. And so they play around and hurt your baby. And you having a baby to take care of in the first place should be proud that you do have a baby. Um, yeah, baby, my baby, and your baby. Yeah, but they're not real. They're not real. They're not doing this for themselves. No, they're doing this so that others will look at them, and give them that attention that they want. It's a dishonesty. I could go about my whole philosophy when it comes to honesty from the very. This isn't about that. This is about asking and answering questions, and I'm not drawing. I'm so out of it. I'm so out of it. My friends are here too. That's so sweet, you guys. Thank you so much. And you hear too much of my voice every day. Why'd you have to be here? Thank you. Love my friends. How do I famous? I'm gonna move my microphone to the side. Mhm. I'm trying my best to scroll down and get something answered. Mm. Mm. It's so ridiculous how the amount of questions here I can't answer. Yes, about more shows. Yes, about more songs. Yes, about going into cities that I haven't been to yet. I can't answer the art related ones because I generally don't have anything other than my philosophy. Hmm. I don't know if this will be a helpful advice, but this is how I work anyway. This question is from Scav. What would you say that helps with composing music? I'm a beginner writer and I've been struggling with putting everything together. Now, what's going to come out of my mouth is so far from terminology and just the so-called right way to do it because I did not study music. I do not know the terms and I am no professional. I am simply just an artist who makes things and I have my own methods. When it comes to composition and giving my words melody, as I said before, lean into emotion. And however that emotion may go, if I start to hum a melody or a tune that I think relates or makes me feel a certain thing. And it could be anything, it could be any sort of feeling. It could be melancholic, it could be upbeat, it could be doubt, it could be excitement. But think of the context. And that's why I love storytelling when it comes to music and how I'm so specific when it comes to songs being given melody because When you're writing your song, what's it about? What's the feeling you want the listener to have when they're listening to it? Do you imagine this as a melancholic one, or the complete opposite? Do you want it to be filled with rage? Do you want it to have a drive? Do you want it to be as complicated as a bottled anger? And that is completely up to you as a creator or as an artist to interpret that the way you see it. For example, when I make my songs, I don't just do them. I don't just compose them because it sounds good. It may sound good, but I may go, it doesn't feel right. I am able to have fun performing it, but it feels wrong. It's not the feeling. It doesn't fit the specific feeling that I'm hankering for. But it just comes to you, and you just have to welcome it. And that taste, just like us growing up and progressing inevitably, will be will come to you naturally, and it will reshape your palate. How kids do not, I'm not really often fond of bitterness, but as they grow up, they get to experience more and more different tastes and spices and drinks and such flavors. If you were to an example would be great right now, but it's so broad and I don't think I'm helping at all. I feel like I'm just yapping your ears off. One of the things that I was told was from one of my colleagues. They said that when it comes to my writing or my compositions, there's always intention, and I am never without intention. You can create something so boppy and something so exciting, but does it make sense? Does it render the exact message that you want in that story? And it is a rightful sacrifice to start over and discard that exciting and boppy melody for the right one. It is always the best decision. I should move on. I am not helping. But I wanted to talk about that. That's how I view it. The food questions are really funny. I'm seeing here. This is by Iris. Iris D Sky. Her question is, hello Keith, this might be a bit confusing to read, but I will try my best to ask coherently. As someone who likes to create OCs, short for original characters, am I allowed to make Yaelokre OCs? If so, do you have any templates to share as a starting point? Yes, you are more than welcome, and you are actually very much encouraged to make a character within Meadowlark. For template, I wouldn't really say anything, but a good starting point would be aspiration. If you want to create a character in Meadowlark, think of aspiration. Who do you want to be? What do you want to become? This character should be a reflection of yourself. May it be someone that you were in the past, or the person you want to be in the future. Or it could be an alternate version of you, the opposite of you. And how will that work? How would you write yourself the opposite of how you know yourself? It needs to be related to you. And I encourage this because I want people to fall in love with themselves. I want people to fall in love with a part of themselves, if not the entire thing. I want you to make a character that you at first may seem unsure of, but the more you work with this character, you realize that, oh, I actually love drawing this character. It has my features. It has my bits of my personality, if you must, but it has my truth. And no one else is able to tell this truth other than myself, because this character was made with the ingredient that is myself. And I know that Yaelokre, given the name as well, has a theme of warm colours and such, and clothing from the Baroque era, or Victorian, or Old English, or 1920s. But you don't have to stick with that. You can be as colourful as you wish. And I know someone from the community who is very huge in purple, and still they are able to enjoy the media as is and be able to make characters and draw without needing to force themselves to change just so to use the warm color palette. You can be purple if you wish. You can be all black if you wish. You can be rainbow. You can be whatever you want. And if you want to tag it under Meadowlark or Yaelokre, you are more than welcome to. I think it would be amazing for people to do this. And when people see it under the tag, it would be lovely for everyone to go, would your character and my character do this? Can they be friends? Can they be put in a situation? Does your character and my character have something in common? And through that, there could be new friendship. Without realizing that both of those characters that you have are actually just real traits and interests that both of you possess. And I think that's wonderful. Yes, it was about you, Lily. I actually think that since I'm here now, given that last question, I want to encourage everyone to interact, not just like straight up, but make their characters interact. I want to be able to see people make art and even write stories with other people's OCs. I want your character to interact with another person's character, kind of sense. And who knows? Maybe in the near future, when you're not interested in my project anymore and not within this fan base anymore, that those characters can become and can become their own person and can branch out beyond Meadowlark and stand on its own. This is a very good way to connect with people, I think. Because you're not really sharing much of your personal information through this. You're not sharing your life, you're not sharing your day-to-day schedule, but the other person could learn more about you through this character. And there is some sort of protection and reassurance, but most of it is fun. I like the art fight idea. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know your nickname, but this person's called the Scale Lab. I would love to have that actually. That's a really fun idea. I may bring that up with the team to see if we can come up with something. When you're asked about your Meadowlark character, I want you to be able to say, I made this character because I aspire to be something. I aspire to learn about what this character's profession is. I aspire to honor this person that I was before. And I suppose the well, someone has brought up the playwright. That is one of the latest things. Is that I am not the playwright. I can't be the playwright because I'm not as knowledgeable or as experienced or as powerful as them. I'm not them, but I aspire to be. I look up to them. I use it as a reference to better myself. And that goes the same with all of my characters. When I doubt myself, I think Cole as a kid would still continue to do what they love. They're so passionate that they don't let doubt get to them. And I'm like, oh, if this kid can do it, then I can do it. This project is not about me. I'm reading the chat. Sure, I give voice and I do sing and I make the songs and all such, and I did write the story. But me going on stage is one thing. When I walk off the stage, I want people to continue being kind. I want you to keep kind. And just because I'm out of the room doesn't mean that you shouldn't be. Doesn't mean that you get to just be the opposite of what this cause is about. It's about leaving a message, and it doesn't matter if you're into the music, it doesn't matter if you're into the story or not, it doesn't matter if you know the characters' names, it doesn't matter if you know anything about the lore. What matters is that you're able to take from this project that it is so easy to be kind. And that is something that I struggle with myself as well. Even I struggle to be kind sometimes. But I know myself that I'm trying to be better, and that should be enough. Same with everybody. I am just a reference to you that I am a normal person who was put into this pedestal and to be put in this situation where so many kids and so many even adults look up to me. But it's not about me. Whenever I have meetings with my team and talk about, I mean, even as corporate as merch, it's always about how can we push Meadowlark and its themes and its message. How can we allow people the space to create and be creative and to spread kindness and interaction and understanding? How can we push media that encourages everyone to take the time to comprehend something that they can't understand rather than quickly judging it and settling with that judgment forever, closing every single opinion, every single correction from anyone. And I want to be able to give you room to let yourself out of that box. Even though, unfortunately, that the world is full of unkind people and people who are deemed to hurt because they have been hurt. But I want that to be a space. I want this project to be a place where kindness is not scarce in comparison to the outside world, and for you to just be and be comfortable. And if you're not, then this isn't your place. And I'm sorry we failed you. But at the same time, it is inevitable that we cannot please everybody. But we are trying. I talk so much. I need to get in line. We're reaching 2 years. 2 years in a couple of weeks. Isn't that crazy? 2 years ago, they keep telling me that in 5 years' time, I would be a completely different person. But it's funny to think that it's already been, it's almost half of that 5 years has already gone. And I already feel like a completely different person from when I released Happy Hair. It's hilarious, actually, to think that I've gone through so many experienced, a majority of it new, and still I am able to see the same exact people think the very same thing, because they don't allow themselves to learn. They don't allow themselves to go out of that box, and because of that, they are just hurting. They're hurting, and they're hurting other people. And Jay is talking about, this user is talking about if there should be a channel where put our season people allowed to draw and collab. I want the server to be organized as well. I'll bring that up with the team, but it'll take some time to really brainstorm a proper way to execute it, since sadly Discord is quite limited. But thank you for bringing that up. Aurora's such a kind person. I went to her. This is such an interesting topic. I'm not really answering questions anymore. Hold on, let me change this. I don't know if I could change this, but maybe another 30 minutes. This is such an interesting topic to get into, since someone has mentioned Aurora, but it's also similar to this song that I wrote and the one that I sung in my side account, in my Keithos Instagram, of when I said, people do not know who you really are in person, but for some reason they have it in their head that they do. And I went to her show in London, which was Aurora for. I was invited to to go to her show, which was the Aurora for War Child. If you don't know, War Child is a charity, and it helps children who are currently, unfortunately, suffering from war, and that is just beyond Palestine. Congo, Sudan, Uganda, and so many other places. And they've raised so much money during that charity. It was like 80,000 pounds. And it was amazing. I left really inspired. And it's so interesting how the internet and also the audience from the stage. Yes, the charity is still very much active, and they have a website that you can go and donate as well. But the internet and the audience can only really see a portion of who you are as a person. And it's so interesting. I feel relieved. I feel relieved that I know Aurora is genuine, and getting to talk to her the way she talks normally, unlike how she does on stage. It's like there's this reassurance that there are people out there who wish to do good, but they're not only wishing, they are doing good. And I don't really listen to a lot of her music because she's a whole nother different genre with her modern songs right now. But it's like I'm so relieved to know that there are people out there like her family, her team, and even the people I work with, my team, that are just so driven by the cause. And it does leave me very much inspired. I hope to do something similar in the future as well. And me and my manager was actually talking on having a charity thread here on Discord that people could just visit the channel and see the list of charities that that members can donate to as a source. So that is something I hope to implement soon. It's getting into 4 p.m, so I'm not answering questions anymore. I'm sorry if it was quite short. Yes, I live in London. I live in the UK. The UK time zone. The Brits are scared of me. No, unfortunately, I did not get to draw as much, Sophia. I got too carried away with the topic. I get so passionate about this. I'm about to leave soon, yes. Maybe 10 more minutes. Gas. Oh. Well, thank you so much for listening. I know I yap a lot, and there are many things that I wish to say to people, and I'm really grateful for listening to me. And it is one thing. It is one thing to be able to have this amount of power, to have at least 300 people, which doesn't seem a lot to bigger public figures, but it's that hope of you guys carrying my truth and knowing what I stand for, and knowing pieces of me, and for you to take, I wouldn't say inspiration, but it as a reference of what you could do for yourself. And in a way, I am helping, or I hope to help. So I don't just feel like I'm stuck in this house, not doing anything significant for the world, but I always want to do good. Don't teach your kids about me. Don't teach kids about Yaelokre. Teach your kids about how you found kindness in the darkest corners of the world, and no matter how scarce it may seem, it is still very much alive and thriving in its own way. And there are many who wish to do good, and that's what we need to remember. I'm going to be heading off soon. Thank you so much for listening and staying with me. I hope to do this again. It was fun to scroll down the Ask Keith questions, so don't be discouraged to send some of your questions. I there are chances, not a guarantee, but chances I will get to them. It's like a raffle. Like I put my hand in the jar full of little paper with notes in them, and I'm just like, oh, what do we want to answer? But yeah, it's been fun and helped me start my day properly. You're lucky. Hello, Louie. Bye.